Radio BDC, I'm Julie Kramer. We are here with Halsey. We are backstage, Boston Calling, and the broadcast is being powered by Xfinity. We're actually in this kind of swank and very cool little area because so many of your fans are out there.
Yeah, they're all pretty eager and enthusiastic. It's amazing. Last time I was out here, I played the Middle East, and originally we were supposed to play the small room, but the tickets sold out so quickly they bumped it up, and then they bumped it up again. So I came out, I played a sold-out show to just under 1,000 kids, and they were absolutely crazy, and they all waited to meet me after the show. So I was kind of expecting this, but I'm really excited. Hopefully I get to go meet some of them.
Is this the biggest stage you've played so far?
I think so, yeah, which is pretty ironic because today's the biggest stage I've ever played so far. I've only played a handful of shows, really. To be fair, I've probably only played about 40 shows in my whole life because I just started touring. But after this, I move on to arenas with Imagine Dragons, so I guess this is good practice.
Yeah, I think. Is it nerve-wracking?
Sometimes, but I really feel like I'm in my element on stage. Off stage, I'm a total klutz. I trip over everything. Yesterday, I was walking with a Starbucks coffee, full to the top, and just the cup collapsed in my lap. I'm a total klutz. But on stage, I feel like I get instilled with this newfound grace that I've never had before in my whole life.
You love to be on stage all the time.
I do love to be on stage.
So let's talk a little bit about you. I was watching some videos of you, and for 20 years old, you are incredibly eloquent.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And you seem to really know what you want.
I think you have to be 20 years old and to be, a young female. I moved 3,000 miles away from my family. I live in Los Angeles, and I run this whole, operation myself. So I think I have to speak well, or people will speak against me.
So originally you were going to go to art school, correct?
I was. I actually wanted to either go to RISD or come out here and go to an art school in Cambridge. But that.
What's your medium?
Fine art. I love painting. I'm a painter. I like surrealistic painting. More recently, I've just been painting like cartoons. My boyfriend's a huge cartoon geek, so I've been doing that kind of stuff for him. And, as music became my job, art became my therapy instead of my intended profession.
And now you were telling me that your dad is actually from Quincy?
He is. My dad is from Quincy. I have a tons of family there. My grandmother, my aunts and uncles and cousins live out there. My dad went to Boston Latin High School.
Are they here today?
Some of them are, yeah. I think a lot of them are waiting to come out and see me in a couple weeks out with Dragons. But some of them are here today. Thank God my grandmother's not here because I said some pretty vulgar stuff on stage. But I'm excited for them to come out and check me out on that kind of level.
I mean, that's thousands and thousands. But not to make you nervous by any means, Halsey. But seriously, that's a huge jump.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy for me because I've only ever done 2 tours in my whole life. My first one was with the Kooks. Yeah, I went out, did about 13 shows with them, and then I went out on my headline tour, did a co-headliner with a band called Young Rising Suns. I've known for a long time. They're from New Jersey too. We went out and we played sold-out shows every single night, and I realized how much I love doing this. So when I think about Imagine Dragons, I don't really get nervous. I'm more excited. I'm a songwriter, and the real test of a songwriter's worth is if their song can connect in a room with 500 kids, or if it can connect in an arena with 15,000 people, or if it can connect in a bar with 20 drunk adults at last call, So if your song can connect on all those levels, that's the mark of a true songwriter. So I'd like to consider this more of a test for me to see if I can do it.
Now, you have a record coming out in August.
I do. My record, my debut album, Badlands, will be coming out towards the end of August. I put a tremendous amount of work into it. I'm really excited for everyone to hear it. I wrote every single song on the album. It was a long, painful, therapeutic process, but for me, Badlands is just this fictional society I've created where everything's kind of commercial and gluttonous and chaotic.
Are you sure that's not really like society?
It kind of feels like it sometimes, especially coming into the industry where everything's such a whirlwind. And I'd like to consider Badlands as a sort of metaphor for my mental state. And the record has these sounds that are kind of out of this world, and it really created its own universe. But I think the most important part of it is that midway through the record, through the dialogue, I make the decision to leave. and I make the decision to leave the Badlands, leave this chaotic wasteland that I'm using as a metaphor for my headspace, and seek solace out elsewhere. And Badlands are all I've ever known, but I'm optimistic.
So do you foresee this album, almost as you're talking about it, could be like a cartoon?
Absolutely. I mean, I based the whole thing off of my love for comics and graphic novels. So we have quite a bit of visual content that's accompanied with the record, and it's got this retro future vibe where everything kind of feels like an extra dimension where things seem like real life, but something's not quite right.
Excellent. So tell me, are you always writing even while you're on the road, or do you just concentrate on the show?
I try to, but they're very different headspaces for me. My writing headspace is one, and my performance headspace is another. So I try to separate them as much as possible so I can invest as much of my energy into one thing at a time. But, you never know when inspiration's going to strike, so I'm not going to say I'd never write on the road.
Again, for 20 years old, you're incredibly eloquent. It's Halsey. The record Badlands is out in August. Thanks very much for talking to Radio BDC.
Thank you guys so much for having me, and for Boston Calling. This was quite a day.